you're in year 13 and you've already secured your Oxford offer. And suddenly, you've also got a degree apprenticeship offer working with the finest music company. Which one are you taking? The blue pill or the red pill? Hey guys, in this video I interviewed Dan, who's my friend who's at Oxford University, and we compare going to Oxford to doing a degree apprenticeship. Just a heads up though, I had some technical difficulties recording the Dan side of the audio, which means that we had to restart recording. So what you're seeing is like the second attempt at the interview. It also means that the audio and the video are not synced or a little bit weird at places. So I hope you can bear with that. But apart from that, Dan had some really useful insights and we had a really good conversation. So I hope you enjoy the video and let me know your thoughts. Go on, Dan, introduce yourself.
Right, for the second time, I'm Daniel. I'm a first year student at Oxford and I'm studying music. I'm interested in composition mainly, that's what I want my future career to be. But I also play the piano and I'm interested in the theoretical academic side of music as well. So that's me.
Fair enough. And funnily enough, we have already had this conversation before. So for the second time, Dan, what do you think led you to choose Oxford or to go down the traditional university path? Was it your own academic inspiration or do you think it was external factors that led into that as well?
A bit of both. So when you're deciding to do music, you sort of have to choose between conservatoire and uni first. That's the main decision. And since I wanted the more academic route, so that was just my personal decision, I went down the uni route. And then you can choose BA or B Muse, which again is a similar decision, but I chose BA. And since Oxford is that, prestigious, highly academic uni, that was what I was almost guided to. That was also the decision I wanted to make as well. And then more external factors such as just enjoying, I like the city on the open days. I went around and I could see myself there for 3 years. So yeah, a bit of both.
That's a very important factor. So do you think that it's generally true that people are more hesitant to apply for apprenticeships because of the stigmatism around them?
Yeah, I'd say since they're not super, well advertised, not everyone really knows that much about them. The traditional uni route is obviously what people are expected to go down, and is what schools sort of prime students to go towards. So yeah, I do think there is a bit of a stigma pushing people towards.
It's really funny, isn't it? Because when you hear about degree apprenticeships, they almost sound too good to be true. Like, I remember back in year 12 when I first heard about them. Oh my god, the company fully pays for your degree, and you get a salary on top of that, and you get a work
it's
experience.
quite impressive.
What? Like, why are we not told about these things at school?
Yeah, I agree. It's quite surprising.
Yeah, exactly. So, in the specific context of music, what advantages do you think you have going to Oxford or going to university and studying it rather than apprenticeship? I know there's not many apprenticeships out there for music, so you're going to have to use your imagination to answer this one.
Okay. So the main thing that sets Oxford and like Cambridge apart is, or academically, is their tutor system, which is sort of having small groups of 1 to 3 with a world-class academic sort of leading the tutorial, sort of bouncing ideas off each other, getting feedback for your work. So having that hands-on experience with someone top of their field who's like writing the books that you're reading and working off of, it's if you want to go down the academic route, that's like incredibly valuable experience, and they push you like beyond your limits, your academic limits. So that's definitely one of the reasons Oxford stands apart from other unis and degree apprenticeships, really. Yeah.
I definitely agree. I think for someone who wants to like get academically able and someone who really focuses on academics, like going to Oxford especially, even amongst universities, does sound like the ideal route to go. But do you think for the average A-level student out there, universities actually have more to provide than, for example, a degree apprenticeships? Like, and that's not just in music, that's in general. What are your thoughts on that?
I would say, obviously I'm not super familiar with them, so I'm not most certified, but I would say if your degree apprenticeship is specifically for what you want to do in the future, then I would see no reason why a uni would be preferable. I'd say uni is more preferable if you're not sure what you want to do in the future, maybe, and you want to get a more broad approach to like the subject or whatever. But if you already know what you want to do, I see no reason why, a degree apprenticeship should be stigmatized.
I think that seems very well put. So, to sort of build on that, let me ask you this question. So, Oxford obviously would offer engineering as a course as well. And engineering is one of the most popular degree apprenticeship courses. And in an engineering degree apprenticeship, you'd get straight stuck into work, you'd learn a lot about the company, and you learn a lot more hands-on than a university education, right? So do you think for disciplines like engineering and physicsy disciplines, Oxford would still be preferable?
I honestly wouldn't know. I feel like if you're in the degree apprenticeship, you're working with someone who's highly specialised in their field, knows their stuff, then I don't really see why it would be, other than maybe breadth of what you look at. I don't see a downside.
I see. Yeah, you wouldn't think that, would you? And coming from someone who's going to Oxford, that actually is a lot. So in terms of do you want to pursue a music career?
Yeah, I'm interested in composition, so working possibly with film, game, or regular concert hall music. So, yeah.
Fair enough. So one of the huge advantages that degree apprenticeship, in my eyes at least, has over Oxford, even as a university, is the career benefits. Because not only are you getting paid and getting a degree, but while someone who goes to university, so be it Oxford, only has the degree at the end of the 4 years, degree apprenticeship offers a degree and 4 years of work experience working in that field, right? So you can see how that would be sort of beneficial for your career. So for your personal career, how do you think Oxford is uniquely contributing to make sure at the end of the 4 years of your degree, you start off as high as you can?
Well, I think with Oxford, one of the sort of stereotypes, which is quite true, is the connections you get there. And I think there's a massive network, and you do get incredibly valuable connections from your individual tutors. So the small group sessions you have, you get to know them. You almost become friends with them, and they will give you opportunities. And they will also send you to other people that they know. And you'll sort of amass this network, and you'll have, for music, like concert opportunities. You can, you'll be able to set up concerts. You'll be able to find work, say, with composers, if, I don't know, you're recommended or something. So you do get to build those connections. And Oxford in general, just the music societies there, there's just lots of opportunities to do stuff. There's myriads of workshops with professionals coming in, critiquing your music, playing your music. And yeah, it's a brilliant place. And I imagine lots of unis are like that.
Oh, I see. So you say that the networking is really, really going to help with career growth in the future. And I think that is the stereotype, isn't it? You go to Oxford, you go to MIT, you go to the top universities, less for the education, but more for to get to know the top leaders and stuff.
Well, I mean, this is all based off stereotypes, kind of. So I'm not exactly sure, but maybe there is an advantage in that regard at Oxford. But I don't see why there wouldn't be top professionals at other unis that you wouldn't be able to foster similar connections with.
No, I completely agree with that. But obviously, because you have been at Oxford, have you seen, do you feel like the people around you are the top of the top, and you're making valuable connections that really help you personally progress your career? Do you feel that?
Yeah, I've met some tutors who are pretty incredible. There's one course on Schumann we do, and the lecturer there has written basically every book on Schumann there is. So they're if you want to research, do a postgrad on Schumann, having that sort of connection and taking that into your musicological career is pretty invaluable. My tutor is a very composition oriented person, so I feel like I have a massive resource to draw off of. And that'll help me.
That sounds fantastic then. So moving on to the next topic, which would be theory versus practicality. As another thing that degree apprenticeships have going for them is that they prioritize sort of hands-on practical stuff, way more than universities, right? Well, as for example, for me, if I was at university doing software engineering, I would be hit with assignments and essays, right? And I'd be doing those assignments for the professor to mark them. But at my apprenticeship, I can take much more accountability for my work because I'm doing work that actually has real life impact. I'm making like engines and stuff. So, what do you feel like in your music degree? What do you think the balance between theory and practice is?
I would say there is a lot of emphasis on the academic side, so musicology and the theory. But equally, there is, even though it's not, it maybe compared to a conservatoire, that's sort of the stereotype of practical hands-on music stuff. I'd still say you get a lot of that at Oxford and most unis. There's definitely a large focus on composition and performance, and other than the first year, which is sort of prescribed to you what you do, even though it still has a good balance, it's the second and third year where you really make it your own, and you're able to personalise what you do. So if you want to do composition and performance exclusively, then you can. So you can tailor it to what you want.
I see. So from what I'm hearing, it seems like the first year is a lot more theoretical because that's like the basis of your knowledge. But then when you get to the second and third years, you can sort of choose whether you want to go down the theoretical route, which would be the academic route, or whether you want to be more practical. So basically, like, if you want to go down the theoretical academic route, obviously that's not possible with degree apprenticeships much. So if you're that type of person, then you need to go to university, and that's definitely a very like telltale sign that you're a uni person, right? Do you think, like, obviously based on your limited knowledge of other disciplines at Oxford, do you think this also applies to other disciplines?
As in, if you wanted to go down,
like the theory versus practical side, like based on like what your friends have been saying and stuff, do you think that most other disciplines also heavily emphasize theory, at least for the first year?
Yeah, well, from what I can tell, like some of the sciences, there isn't as much practical work, and a lot of it is theory, which I guess is to be expected. You need the theory to do the practical to some extent. So I don't know if it changes in second and third year, whether they can focus more on practical stuff. But for first year at least, it seems like it is more theoretical.
Okay, fair enough. I think that's all my questions. So before we end it, I'm gonna ask you the magic question. So let's say in an ideal world, you're in year 13 and you've already secured your Oxford offer, and suddenly you've also got a degree apprenticeship offer working with the finest music company. So keeping in mind, you're still getting a degree, you're getting paid around £20,000, and you basically get a guaranteed job to work at your dream company, whatever that be, at the end. Which one are you taking? The blue pill or the red pill?
It would take serious thought. The prospect of like working with a top composer, sort of orchestrating for them and working with them and seeing what they do. That's like, and getting paid for it. That's an incredibly tempting offer, and it would be a tough decision deciding that. Considering I know I want to do composition.
I see.
And if there were that sort of opportunity for degree apprenticeships, it would be tough, and it would come down to...
Okay, how about I make it easier on you? And how about we say that you haven't secured an offer from Oxford in particular, and you have to go to like some other university that's obviously not Oxford. So would that make your decision any easier?
Probably, yeah. I think I'd be quite inclined to take the degree apprenticeship offer if it was with what I wanted to do, like composition.
Fair enough. That's very interesting. And with that, thank you very much for joining me, Dan.
No problem at all. Thank you.
Hopefully I'll actually see you in person soon.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, thank you.
Thank you very much. Nice to see you.